Hey y'all, hope everybody's doing alright. It's been a right while since I've done the video. This is actually my second take on this video. Um, so I'm going to try to do another one later on if I can. Just my schedule's a lot busy and all. So a video just has come out recently, and I'm not going to show you the video because I don't want no copyright problems or anything. Let's see, it was 9 days ago, and it was by T-Rex Arms, the owner being Lucas Bakken. And he mentioned a video in this video about Daniel Defense. Okay. Now, the video about Daniel Defense is not what intrigued me. What intrigued me was what he talked to them about, and meaning Daniel Defense, the company. I wanted to get some kind of clarification from Daniel Defense about what they are. And he said something branding a certain thing, and it had me pondered. Okay, so bear with me on this. Go back and look at the video. He will make a statement called the civilian defense industry, and how his company is trying to lean itself predominantly to the not civilian, excuse me, the citizens defense industry, and he's trying to lean that predominantly to the citizens. He's trying to flip the reversal. You know, usually when it comes to companies, they're building things for military, police, and then the citizen. And it had me thinking about that when he said it, and I'd love to hear more clarification from him about, you know, what's his parameter on this, or what path is he trying to go in this? Because if it's trying to go the way he's thinking, I'm on board with 100%. And here's what I'm trying to get at. What I thought I heard him say for future plans. Citizens are more powerful than the police and the military could ever be, as long as the citizen realizes and recognizes that he's a citizen and not a civilian. Case in point, U.S. Supreme Court federal judge has just recently ruled that a person who is not a citizen is still protected under the Constitution of the United States, the Second Amendment, and the right to keep and bear arms in the United States. I disagree with that absolutely 100%. Okay, that person's not a citizen. That person is a civilian. And once again, we're downgrading citizenship to civilian. And if we downgrade continually a citizen to civilian, then the power of the citizen is wiped away. And that power which is left is only the power of the rulers, not the ruling class over the rulers, but the rulers themselves will own the ruling body, meaning the citizens. Now, you may say, well, you know, if you're on the bandwagon that it doesn't matter, it does matter. There's nothing that says that a citizen or a non-citizen cannot defend themselves. That is an inherent right. That is absolutely inherent right. But the ownership of firearms is not an inherent right. Self-defense is an inherent right. The ownership of firearms, the inherent right of self-defense, that is a tool of the modern age to self-defense, meaning your firearm is protected under the Constitution The self-defense is protected under the natural order or by the laws of God, whichever you prefer. It is merely the means in which we're using something is a tool of the modern day. For example, we don't use flintlocks anymore, but yet that's still a firearm. We don't use percussion cap anymore, yet that's still a firearm. We don't use black powder, yet that's still part of a firearm. We don't use cap and ball. We don't use buck and ball. We don't use the Minet bullet. We use modern technology for defense. The defense itself is the defense of natural, the inherent right. The machinery is not. The machinery is the device that is a modern, that is protected under the Constitution of the citizen, we the people of the Republic of the United States of America. And when the courts start saying that a civilian, non-citizen, because that's what a civilian is a non-citizen, a person who has no skin in the game, when they have the same rights as the citizen, then the citizen is now degraded to the level of a person with no power. And so when he talked about this very interesting branding of the citizen defense industry, it had me pondered. I really thought about that, and I've thought about it for the last couple of days. And you know how there's military shows where the modern day leadership of today, they go to these shows to see the latest and greatest in technology. They're trying, the science and the R&D, the people that are trying to get contracts, check the box. Well, then there's the police side, the same way, check the box. Each one is not the same, and each one has varying differences. There's some things that are the same, but the majority is, your highest level is the military. They get all the pretty bells and whistles. And then way below it is the police, and then below it is the citizen. But the thing is, I think Botkins might have something here. If an industry of citizen only, 95% an industry is citizen only, with 5% being police and military, that could possibly be the greatest citizen defense in the entire world. If you understand what I'm trying to say, for example, handguns, check. Everybody the handguns, the rifles. But if these devices and these implementations of modern science, modern technology, radio communications, plate carriers, if they were more centered to the citizen and not the police and the military, and they were at a budget friendly to where these were not thousands and thousands of dollars per unit, but rather $300 per unit, it could wind up being a multi-billion-dollar industry that could revolutionize the American thought of what a citizen is over civilian. Because right now, I don't see that. I don't see citizens understanding their role in the modern age. You have violent extremists all over the world. We just had this tragedy in Russia. If you're pro-Russia or you pro-Ukraine, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you got people who went to their nation and killed and did damage to their people. Okay, so now let's put yourself in the shoes of what happened. What would you say if that happened in Oklahoma? If you had Islamic terrorists in Oklahoma and they killed 100 plus people, and they obtained the arms to do it because a federal court judge said that they're protected under the Second Amendment to do so. Yet they're not citizens. They're already feloniously violating the law because they came to America illegally, and our process system said, okay, we'll see you in 5 years, go for a judge. Hell to the no. I think it's far more dangerous for us in the United States to have a terrorist attack than it is any other nation in the world, as long as we got a court system with judges like this. There's a method in the madness. We need to examine those things. We need to ask why a federal judge would degrade our ownership as a citizen to a civilian, while we would allow a illegal to be graded up to the level of a citizen without the work that has to go into being a citizen. But the video was very interesting. Not the video of Daniel Defense, but the video in part of the citizen defense industry. That really light bulb. Like, wow, that's pretty smart. If he can get companies like Daniel Defense and other companies like PSA. I know a lot of people rag on PSA. I don't get why. I really don't. If they're putting out a product that's $400, and you're a college student and money's tight, or you're just a dad and money's tight, and you got $400 to buy you an AR for the first time, or you got $400 to buy you a trunk gun, what in the Sam Hill's the problem with that? Okay. Now, granted, it's not your LWRC, it's not your Daniel Defense, it's not your high end, your high end Gucci arms. But case in point, you got people in Ukraine right now that are fighting with 1940 issued Mosin and Gantz. You got people in Ukraine right now that are buying $5 Chinese lights and taking duct tape and wrapping it around their stocks and using it as their overseas they call them torches, but we call them lights. In certain areas they call them lights, but using their illumination to see. And if that thing gets busted, they only wasted $5 on it. A cheap Chinese crap thing, not a Surefire, not a mod light, not a stream light. Get it? Get what I'm trying to say? So, I think that the idea he has, if he's trying to get enough like-minded companies together, there could be a future where we all want to see SHOT Show, right? I do. I love SHOT Show. I love to see it every year come out. But would you have more attention put into it? Would you be more anxious to see annually a citizen SHOT Show versus SHOT Show, which has got a lot of police and military stuff wrapped up in it? Would you rather see a citizen SHOT Show, putting a bracket, citizen SHOT Show, where they're talking about the latest technology, the latest ballistics, the latest barrels, the latest whatever, your flavor, but they're putting it in the level of the citizen? Yes, it's not military grade, or it's not at that military level, but not everything great's at a military level, and not everything at a military level do you really need. I think that he has hit on a niche that could possibly be one of the best things for the American people, for the citizens of this country to really think on. That's just my opinion. If you don't understand more about it, go on to T-Rex Arms and look up. T-Rex Arms is Daniel Defense Anti-2A. Okay, it's on his channel, and it's not about the video being anti-2A for Daniel Defense. It's the video about the citizen defense industry. It really has me going, that might be a winner chicken dinner. You hear what I'm saying? Because, like, our military is X, our police is Y. But our citizens are, oh boy, a lot. Now, yes, the military contracts are big money. Police contracts, comes and goes. Especially police, I could go through an entire day talking about the lack of funding on that end. But let's put all this aside. But when you talk about the citizens, if you create citizen bracketed products, and they're going to be at a cheaper unit per cost, but on the broad spectrum, that'll be a larger payout for a company than that big government contract that's only for you for 18 months versus a guy still buying that same product 24 months. You know, I bought this when it first came out. I tried it out, thought I really liked it. I bought another one 6 months later. I bought a third one another 6 months later. You know what I'm saying? You know, granted, some things are, you know, one and done. I'll grant you that. But if you're able to build a better mousetrap that can be, let's see. Okay. If you can build a better mousetrap, that this is our first line product, and then we're making a second line product that goes to the first line product, and a third line product to go to the first line product, and all these different add-ons where, you know, you may pay 20% more than the second item. Might be you'll pay 30% more on the third item. But when you put it all together, this is this complete system that you, the citizen, have for the preparedness of your, for the preparedness to defend the republic, to defend your family, to defend your neighbors, your county, and your state. You know, that's pretty hot. That's a very, very interesting concept that I think that he's trying to work in. He's trying to get the gears going in his head. Is can I umbrella this? I mean, there's 50 companies and they're dedicated their workload to 70% citizen and the rest to military and police. You know, it's food for thought. Well, I'm going to try to get me another video out again. I hope everybody's doing all right. Be back directly, y'all.